What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daily Walk with Lance. This is where I take my morning Bible devotional, I take some notes down, and then I share it with you guys. Like I say before every video, please don't view me as a spiritual leader, pastor, or prophet. I'm nothing like that. I'm just the average Christian trying to put more Jesus on the internet. Because I had this thought where if we were up talking to the disciples would be telling us how they had to either the disciples had to travel to people or people had to travel to the disciples to hear the word preached. And and not just travel, but on foot. And we're not talking about like going 5 miles to your local big box store. We're talking about they would travel, 50, 80 miles on foot. It would take multiple days walk, like just to hear the word. And they would say, we had this invention where we had this device in our pocket where we could pull it out and either live stream or record a video and reach people thousands of miles apart in an instant. And we would have to look at them and tell them, you know what, we didn't really use it to spread the Bible. We used it for literally everything else, whether it was gaming, politics, school, news, literally anything and everything. We used the internet, banking, like everything. And we didn't really use it. I mean, there's Christian content out there, and there's been an uptick, but at the same time, there should have been way more. It should have been like the printing press. When we invented the printing press, we realized how we could mass produce Bibles for cheap, and we didn't do that with the internet. And so I'm just trying to move that ball forward an inch at a time and try to do my part in it. I'm gonna add this. I am starting to go live. It'll either the schedule right now I can do more often, but when spring and summer hits and softball starts taking over, I might have to change the time. But for right now, until that season starts, I'm doing live streams on my Rumble channel. It's rumble.com, and then my handle is Rage, RAGELB. It's my initials, and then the number 3. So Rage LB3. And you'll see my mug all over it. And while I do upload these Bible devotionals to it every day, I'm starting. I started back with Call of Duty because Call of Duty is one of the more popular games, but it is kind of, people are kind of tired of it, and people like to watch more storyline kind of games. So for right now, it's going to be Call of Duty, but I'm going to look into maybe some newer games that maybe haven't gotten a lot of attention, or I might go back and play Fallout 4 and do a couple weeks on it. Because I mean, Fallout 4 is my favorite, and with the rumors of Fallout 5, I wouldn't mind getting back into the game and remembering everything that happened. Like, I know there's like 3 or 4 different endings you can get, and it just depends on like who you sided with in the world. But anyway, like I said, I'm gonna start doing that every day between 5 and 6 p.m. for about 3 hours, depending on the day. Sometimes I get let time slip away and I do like a 3 or 4 hour stream, but I will minimum do like 2 hours. But let's get into and for anybody last minute on the softball ministry, if you want to get in on the sponsorship, we're getting ready to order the jerseys. So if you want to be on the jersey, that time crunch is like here. So if you're interested in sponsoring a softball team that's just trying to put more Jesus out in the world, the people who go and play ball on the weekend instead of going to church, we're just trying to at least make the Bible be around them to where we can help anybody who wants it. And I got an official letter, like everything, and I can get you a hold of the team manager and coach. Like, I can do all that stuff. I'll leave my email in the description below on Rumble and YouTube. But if you're on one of the other platforms, the email is teamlegacysoftball@gmail.com. And of course, that's TEAMLEGACYSOFTBALL@gmail.com. And like I said, it should be in the description below if I don't forget to put it there. But all right, let's get into it. This is the Bible devotional, My Own Shadows. Like, you know what? Yeah, that's better. This is the Bible devotional for February 4th. As always, we're in the New American Standard Bible, and this is it has the label of redemption's blessings, and it's the Apostle Paul again. It's Paul liked to write to a lot of the churches, and so that's what a lot of this is. And so this is where, oh wait, no, today's February 5th. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna put that way I know when I go to do my short. That's where it is. This is the Bible devotional for February 5th. As always, we're in the New American Standard Bible, and it is again the Apostle Paul, and it's the incomparable Christ Jesus. And this is, he writes to the church in what was ancient, how do you say it, Colossae, which is modern day Turkey. So let's just get into it. This is Colossians chapter 1, verses 13 through 23. And it reads, For he rescued us from the dominion of darkness and transformed us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For by him all things were created, both in the heavens and on the earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. He is also the head of the body, the church, and he is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, so that he himself will come to have first place in everything. For it was the Father's good pleasure for all fullness to dwell in him, and through him to reconcile all things to himself, whether things on earth or things in heaven, having made peace through the blood of his cross. And although you were previously alienated and hostile in attitude, engaged in evil deeds, yet he has now reconciled you in his body of flesh through death, in order to present you before him holy and blameless and beyond reproach. If indeed you continue in the faith firmly established and steadfast, and not shifting from the hope of the gospel that you have heard, which was proclaimed in all creation under heaven, and of which I, Paul, was made a minister. And again, that is Colossians chapter 1, verses 13 through 23. And like I said, this is once again Paul, and he's writing to what is modern day Turkey, but it was called Colossae. I think I'm saying that right, because it's Colossians is the name of the people. So, and it's spelled similar. It's spelled like Colossians is COLOSSIANS, and Colossae is COLOSSAE. And like I said, it's modern day Turkey, because we know the ancient world was in the Middle East and spread out from there. And so this is just another section where claiming that Jesus is God. So people are like, people want to say, oh, well, Jesus was arrogant, and so that's why he proclaimed God. But no, even the disciples afterward still proclaimed him as God. So even after everything that happened, that not only did they not get dismayed, but they were because of the resurrection, it made them solid, and this life doesn't matter. Obviously it matters to the point where we should be trying to help people come to Christ and things like that. But the ultimate goal, the ultimate gift that we get is eternal life after this life. So, if people who don't want to believe in an afterlife, that's up to them. But for me, if you look, the villains of almost every story, or at least a lot of the stories in the 90s, they were looking for immortality. And as Christians, we believe everybody has it. Your spirit has it. And whether you spend eternity with God or not with God is up to you. And it's not like we have to. The things that the Christianity says to do that are as morally and as laws is all stuff that helps society anyway. So that's why you see a lot of agnostic and atheists that say that they can't wrap their head around the resurrection, but that the Christian like moral value and that our morals come from God and that there's a higher power is actually better for society than for people to just be living heathens. And that's because ultimately morals and law do come from God. That's why we follow them. We actually believe it. And we all need rescue and redemption. There has been no good person. So people are like, well, why do good people suffer? Well, there's no such thing. Sorry. That's just how we view it. We view the only person that could ever call himself good was Jesus. And that was the whole reason why Jesus had to come, because none of us were good. None of us were on the road to heaven. We were all sinners. We were all falling short. We all needed rescued, and we all need redeemed. And that's just like, well, what if someone lives right and just doesn't believe? Well, then they aren't living right, because if you... part of living right in the Christian way is to help other people realize the truth and that there is an afterlife and that there is a creator God and that he wants us there. He wants all of us there. The only segregation is going to be between people who want to be with him and don't. And I'm not talking about in the moment, and they're like if tribulation happens or when judgment comes, it's too late. But while you're here on earth, it's never too late. And Jesus is my next note was Jesus wants all of us in the kingdom. Like I said, the only segregation will be between people in Hades and people in heaven. It won't be based on race. It won't be based on nationality. It won't be based on anything except for if you heard the gospel and accepted it or didn't. And like what I can't wrap my head around is if you want something more, if you're looking for something more, like the easiest way to have more is to try to live a good moral life the Christian way and to believe who Jesus was. Like if we didn't have so many manuscripts about Jesus, if we didn't have all this history and all this architecture in the world that points to that the Bible times were the real recorded history, that was real things that happened. Like if you can admit that there's a creator, then it's so simple to be a Christian. And I guess it's the difference between something being simple and easy. I try to live a simple life, so it's if you try to live a simple, humble life, you'll learn that the Christian way is not only is the best way and the true way, but it's a lot easier than you think. And Jesus is also the person who holds existence together. So if he wanted to, he could take existence out of existence. That's the whole point of him being. The whole point of the Creator being outside our complete understanding. Like we can understand that he's God, but we can't wrap our minds around some things because we're humans. We're not God. And so eternity is hard to wrap around our mind because we know when we came into the world, there's all this history that came before us, all these thousands of years that came before us, and we're still wrapping our head around that we're here now, and we weren't there then, and I don't know, that paradox messes with me sometimes. And Jesus is also the head of the church, so not only does he hold everything together, but he's involved. He wants that relationship with us. That's why he came. It's part of why he came, was to tear the veil so the Holy Spirit stopped living inside the temple and came to live inside of us. And we can be and then This is also we can be shown holy and blameless to the Father. And it's because of the sacrifice on the cross. That's the whole point. Because if we just went to judgment now, we would all fail. All. There would be no exceptions. We would all fall short because the Bible tells us we all fall short. So you need that person who wasn't at fault that will take the blame. And that's what Jesus did. He got what we deserved. And then all we have to do is believe who he said he was. And then we get eternity with him. And I don't know about y'all, but that's enough to get my attention. And then the more I deep dive and the more I look at, artifacts and stuff like that from the world, it's like, yeah, it's real. And you can live in denial if you want. But at the end of the day, truth is truth. You can't change that. All right, y'all. I think that'll do it for today. If this is the first time in one of my videos, if you would, please drop me a follow, hit the like button, share the video, leave a comment, because I don't say that just to try to be a grifter, but the only way the algorithm will push someone's content is if there's a lot of interaction with it, unless they're already like established or a big brand, big company. Those people they're already established, they already have like a natural push, and people who are trying to get into the game or trying to get a message out, the only way the algorithm reacts to us right now is through interaction. So don't do that just for me. Do that for anybody that you enjoy their content. Like, even if it's a video you might disagree with, or it isn't your favorite content for them, leave them an interaction, because then that helps them out, and it helps create more content, and you can take more time to make more content. Like I said, softball ministry, teamlegacysoftball@gmail.com. And there will be a YouTube channel, and probably I might make a Facebook page too. The YouTube channel is already made. It's youtube.com/ and then the @ symbol and Legacy Softball. All right, y'all. Yeah, today's Wednesday, so I'll catch y'all tomorrow or later today. Peace.